Thank you all for joining me for another episode of Keeping It Real with America's Supermom. I am excited to have Kevin here with me. We actually got connected through the networking group V Team, and he is here all the way from the UK. So I'm excited to get into some great conversation. But before we get started, I want to give him the opportunity to introduce himself.
Yeah. Thanks for the show. Yeah, well, so that's Kevin Besford. I'm based in the UK. Geography-wise, that's right down the southwest corner of the UK in Devon. I'm a partner with Travorium. We call ourselves the world's leading wholesale travel club. In the UK, we also call ourselves the best kept secret in the country, which needs to change. So let's say we're a wholesale travel club helping people travel for pennies rather than dollars in a nutshell.
I love that. So, travel is something that so many of us want to do right now. But how has everything kind of changed? Is it opening up with what's going on with this pandemic? Let us know what's the status is.
Things are changing by the day. There's a lot of things opening up. It's going to be a very interesting weekend because in the UK we've got our holiday weekend. I think yours is next weekend. And the last time we had a 3-day weekend, when you were doing Memorial Weekend, 60,000 people went from the UK to Spain. So it'll be interesting to see how many go this weekend. The planes are flying and people are traveling. So we just want to keep the momentum going.
Okay. So I love that. And, it's a little delay here. Bear with us. I tell you, technology, it definitely can get you out of your comfort zone. Okay. Yeah. So, and he is all the way from the UK. So it's to be expected, never a dull moment, at least when you are connected with me in some form or fashion. Okay. So I love the fact that, everything is opening up and, it just seems like, a great time to get involved with the travel club. So talk to us about the benefits. I've never really heard of a travel club and, is it something that's very expensive? I mean, I'm just kind of intrigued here.
Okay, well, let me cover the cost first for you. There are a couple of different levels that you can join at, depending on how much you want to get from the club. But if I concentrate on the best level, the highest level, the first month you join us, you'll pay $250 US. Then subsequent months, you'll pay $125 US, and the company will match it for you. So each month, you're getting $250 in, let's call it your virtual bank account. It's like putting your holidays on layaway, paying month by month, which a lot of people do anyway. So we're just showing them how they can get more value for their buck by doing the same sort of thing. So you've got your virtual bank account accumulating, and every dollar you put in there is spendable against travel as we go along. So the benefits you're going to get in the travel market while you're doing that, each year while you're a member, you get access to one free trip to one of 36 countries. Now, when I say free, I mean the accommodation's free. We don't do much in the world of flights. The airlines don't give much away. But the accommodation is free other than any tax that might be applicable. So, for example, I've got a colleague already in California who's looking forward to her first free trip next month. She's off to Lake Tahoe in September. So you get one of those every year. As well as that, you get access to up to 3 what we call getaway trips every year. This is where we knock the price is driven down right down to as low as $1 per night.
Wow.
If I give you a few examples, I mean, our CEO himself, he went to Cancun in January, and the accommodation he had there was a 2-bedroom suite, ocean views, jacuzzi on the balcony. He paid $9 a night for it.
Wow.
We've got a colleague of mine over here in the UK, and I love telling this story. She went to Fuerteventura in the Canary Islands in February of 2020. A family of 4. I wish she'd gone to Tenerife because I can say that better. I'm getting better at the place. They say a family of 4 in the school holidays, so the price doesn't go up in the school holidays. Their accommodation for the week cost them less than they paid for their bacon sandwich at the airport.
Wow.
Yeah, and so you get up to 3 of those a year. Yeah.
That's
So
awesome.
yeah, the principle is you're using the your virtual bank account to drive the price down to that.
I
So
see.
if you want to be a little bit pedantic, you can say, well, I'm paying money in to cover that anyway, but you still can get half price at worst because the
Mhm.
company's matching what you put in every month.
That's awesome.
But
Now,
we can still
how did you get started with that? What was it that got you involved?
well, I got involved because it's in the network marketing industry, and someone asked me.
Mm,
As simple as that.
I love that.
It's all done by word of mouth. She said, "Look, I'm getting involved in this. Do you want to come and join me?" And the rest is history, as they say.
I
But
love that.
yeah, but I mean,
Yeah.
there's more benefits than just the free trips as well. If I'm just wrap up the benefit side of it for you a second.
Mhm.
Apart from the trips you get away, we also have a hotel portal. Now we have over 1 million hotels on this part of the site,
Mhm.
and we're getting discounts up to 70% on the hotels.
Mhm.
And you don't have to the your virtual bank account. You don't have to touch that for this. This is genuine discount, right?
Mhm.
So a quick example: I did one for someone in Atlanta about 3 or 4 weeks ago,
Mhm.
and the hotel in question, Booking.com wanted to charge $2,160. Our price $733.
Wow.
Yeah, and if you really want to put the icing on the cake, is while you remember extra perk for you in the US, we get something similar in the UK. But in the US, everyone that's a member, you get $100 worth of vouchers every month as well to spend on shopping and eating out. So you're spending $125 a month, but you're getting 100 of it back before you start traveling.
That's amazing. I love that because it sounds like they definitely are great at collaborating
Yeah,
with other businesses that help
yeah,
them to keep the costs low.
that's right. Yeah.
Now, I'm intrigued about, getting involved as network marketing. So, and you just said someone simply asked because there's many people that are watching and they want to do network marketing. They
Mm-hmm.
see the potential, but they're afraid of how to approach people.
Mm-hmm.
They think that they don't want to offend anybody. So, can you walk us through that process? What
Yeah.
happened for you and how it worked?
Yeah, of course. I mean, the prices I've said to you up to now have been purely for being a member.
Mm-hmm.
To have the business side of it to build an income, you've got the really expensive part. You've got to pay an extra $50 per year for that.
Mm-hmm.
That's it, $50 a year. As I said, every other penny you spend, you redeem on travel. So it's just $50 a year to be able to build an income. Now, as a friend of mine that I'd worked with before simply asked me to have a look at it and see if I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to have a go.
Mm-hmm.
And because really all we're doing is asking people to spend their holiday money somewhere different to what they used to.
Right.
It's not like trying to convince people to try these pills or this weight loss drink or the traditional sort of products you get in network marketing. It's fun, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Do you like to travel? Well, of course I do. Everybody loves to travel. Would you like to
Mm-hmm.
travel for less, or would you like to travel for wholesale instead of retail? It's not the sort of question people are going to say no to.
I love that. Yeah, and I
Um,
think, but even people in your industry, I'm sure
mhm,
they have that
mm,
uh feeling like they're an introvert. I don't
yeah,
know. I just don't feel comfortable talking to people,
yeah,
or
yeah,
whatever. So, what
yeah,
tips would you give them? I mean, but you said a lot of key things. It's fun. Everybody
yeah,
likes to travel. You kind of know
yeah,
your audience. So, what
yeah.
tips would you give
Okay,
somebody about, you know, getting
okay.
comfortable
Well,
in whatever it is that they want to offer?
okay. So to build a team, a sizable income, and this with us, we've got the smallest team number you can wish for to get a big income. A team of just 400 will get you a six-figure income, for example. All right, and
Mhm.
that's you might only have got four of them yourself. Okay,
Mhm.
but so if you wanted to get to go fast, then yes, we'll teach you everything there is to know, and we'll teach you how to approach people. We'll teach people how to do it on social media, attraction marketing, etc.
Mhm.
However, I have said on many occasions with this particular business that it's the only one I've ever come across where you could accidentally build a network.
Wow.
Because you think if you take on one of the free trips I've mentioned,
Mhm.
let's say, well, let's use the real life example. My colleague in California, she's going on to a free trip to Lake Tahoe.
Mhm.
Yeah. when she's there, if she posts on her social media, having a great time on my free trip in Lake Tahoe, what's going to happen? People are going to comment. How'd you do
Yeah,
that? I want one. Is that not logical? Human
that's
nature?
very logical. Yes.
Yeah. That is the slower way of doing it, obviously, because you're not going to be having a free trip every week.
Right.
But yeah, you can do it that way. Well, also help you share other people's stories of their trips to do the
Mhm.
same thing. So, there's, yeah, there is ways of doing it without a lot of cold approaching of people or talking to people. You can do a lot of it on social media.
I love that. Yeah, I mean that is really true because I think,
Mm.
but I think sometimes people get this feeling that everything
Mhm.
has to be through their own hand.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
you mentioned it, other people's stories and
yeah,
really understanding how you have a team.
mm, yeah.
So for people how do you build that team um camaraderie? What are some tips to do that?
Okay. Well, the building block that we use is, as I've said, $125 a month is what you pay.
Mhm.
The thing we help everybody to get to first is if you get three people yourself with
Mhm.
our help, that makes your membership free. That's the first step in building a
Mhm.
business. You've got
Mhm.
free business at that point, and you're literally traveling the world for free from there on. So
Mhm.
whether helping people build that building block, once somebody's got their three people, we want to help them three people then, and so on, right? But when you talk about camaraderie, we think of ourselves as a big family.
Mhm.
I mean, I've really sort of taken this by the horns since all the lockdowns have started. I was before then I was a mortgage broker and did the Travarium very much as a side hustle.
Mm.
On that at that point I flipped. I wasn't going to do mortgage business on a Zoom call. I didn't. That didn't feel right to me.
Yeah.
So just for the input of Zoom, and I didn't know Zoom existed before then.
Yeah.
I've built a business with Zoom in globally. I've got friends now in the US, in Dubai, in Australia. I've got team members in South Africa. Yeah, the world's an oyster. Whereas in the old days, pre-Zoom days, I'd have probably gone out to a breakfast event a couple of times a month, meeting the same group of people from the same location.
So true.
That's as far as it would have gone.
Mhm.
But no, I've started the week with a call in Australia. I finished the call with a week with a call to the US.
Mhm.
You know,
So true. I love that. Now, so getting on Zoom, you mentioned that I know so many of us have really begun to master this type of
mm-hmm.
technology when it comes to Zoom. But there are people, if we can be transparent, that are
Yeah,
afraid of
yeah,
Zoom to
yeah.
get on there. What tips, being, you being very experienced in your field and industry before you built your business on Zoom, what advice would you give somebody who might be in that space about, having a virtual presence?
Uh, it's the way the world's going. You need to just give it a try. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, when it first started, I was nervous of it to start with.
Mm-hmm.
And someone said to me, "Look, give it a try a couple of calls a week." And before I knew it, I was doing 4 or 5 a day.
Mm-hmm.
And since then, I've set up the built teams in globally, which I
Mm-hmm.
couldn't have done before. I've even been spoken on a summit like we're doing now. I've spoken on a summit with 18,000 people on.
Wow.
So you just got to grab the ball by the horns and do it.
Yeah,
Well, anybody that's a bit nervous will help as much as they want to be helped.
this is true.
I appreciate it's difficult. I mean, the main thing for anybody to start with is just get the interest and then plug them
Mhm,
into us. Don't try
mhm,
and give all the details to someone that you first port of contact. Everybody will accept it better from a third party.
mm. I appreciate that. That's good
Yeah,
advice. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, if you look at yourself, if you were trying to explain the business to, I don't know, to a brother or sister, they might
Mhm.
well think, well, what do you know about travel? Whereas if you pass them to someone else, they give it a bit more credibility.
I love that. And I mean, that is great advice because, when we get in business, we're so excited. We want to tell everybody,
Yeah.
but we want to make sure we tell them informed
Hmm.
information, something
Yeah.
that's really uh,
Yeah.
implementable. You know what I mean? Because we get
Yeah.
choked up sometimes if
Yeah.
it's something that's new, we haven't really done, or, here you are in travel and you might not have even traveled very far. your
Yeah,
family and friends would know that. So yeah, I think
mm,
that's a great point.
yeah, yeah,
Now, what do
yeah.
you do to kind of keep yourself grounded when it comes to network marketing? Because I think that's an industry that sometimes can be very hard to deal with the no's or not right
Mhm,
nows, or people just not embracing or having a preconceived idea. Oh, here he goes with this network marketing the minute you
yeah.
say it. So, how do you keep yourself focused in spite of,
Mhm.
that type of
Well,
feedback?
there's two answers to that, I guess. The first one is we've got a great member in Canada who we relate to a lot. He's not
Mhm,
actually in our team at all, but his story is phenomenal. When he first started, he didn't get it. It
mhm.
took him over. It took him about 18 months to get his first person to join.
Wow.
But now he's a seven-figure earner.
Mm,
So that's the message there. Look, yeah, just don't give up, and it'll click, and you're there, just
mhm,
like he did. Yeah.
mhm,
So that's the one side. The other side is I tried and take the networking side away from it a bit, and I'm thinking,
mm,
well, what we're offering is a superb service, a superb product here. We're offering a way to create memories and experiences for people probably wouldn't be able to do in the normal marketplace because of
mm,
the expense and perhaps the size of the family or whatever the case might be. Right.
mhm,
So I say, well, here's the membership, $250 a month for the first month, and $125. This is what you get. See
mhm,
the eyes light up, the benefits, and then let them get used to that side first. Enjoy a trip or two,
mhm,
and then it'll happen. Like I said,
mhm,
look, you've shared some posts on social media. Do you want to
mhm.
earn a bit of money from it as well? Let's show you how you can do that.
Love
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, you've got the the established networks that know how to do it, and they want to get stuck in straight away. Fair enough,
Mhm,
but that's the
mm,
minority.
mhm.
A lot of people are looking first and foremost of traveling for a lot less money, and without thinking I've got to recruit people as well while I'm doing it because they don't have to. They can just go be a member and don't enjoy the benefits.
Right. I love that. I mean, that just is so good because a lot of times we just try to take it all in at one time.
Yeah,
Instead of being patient. If you
yeah,
decide that you're going to be in business, that's a long-term decision. So
mm,
you don't have to do everything in a day. So I
yeah,
love that philosophy.
mm,
Now,
yeah.
so what are some good books or podcasts or something like that that you enjoy listening to?
Uh, I didn't expect that question. I'll tell
I
you.
am a bookaholic, okay?
Okay.
I'm just
Well,
saying.
that's
I
funny
just
enough.
thought you're so wise.
Yeah.
I need to get some of your
Yeah.
insights. So that's
Well,
what made me think about it.
let me give you an unexpected one to start with. Then, I mean,
Okay.
I was on a networking call yesterday, and we do it once a week, and we have like a different topic to put on your background and to talk
Mhm.
about within your intro.
Mhm.
And yesterday, with the instruction was that tell us about a book that you're inspired by that you has helped. Right.
Mhm.
So mine was one which nobody would have ever heard of. It was an autobiography. It's a guy called Charlie Spedding. Okay.
Mhm.
No, he's a British athlete. Well, he's retired now. But his
Mhm.
story was he started off on his school days. He was a little tubby lad, always came last in the school cross countries. But if you
Mhm.
fast forward a few years from his perseverance and dedication, he got a bronze medal in the Olympic marathon.
Wow.
So that's an inspiring read.
I love that. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Those
mean,
are great stories.
yeah. But on a networking side, I do like to read people like Fraser Brooks. He's a good fun and a good laugh.
Okay. Now, and so with that story with the Charlie,
Mm-hmm.
what about that story resonates with you,
Well,
in your
I'm
life?
a, I'm a runner anyway, so that helps.
Oh,
I mean, I've done 7 marathons myself. No, don't get me wrong.
7.
Yeah, nowhere near the speed that. Nowhere near a professional speed. Don't get me wrong. So I'm a frustrated runner myself, and I'm on the injured list at the minute. So yeah, this inspiration helps me on with that side of life anyway. And
Yeah.
sporting autobiographies, great for me. I love the mentality, the mindset,
Yeah.
and getting there.
So yeah, we definitely need some mindset tips. I mean, to
Mm,
be a marathon runner, that alone is tells a lot about discipline
mhm,
and
mhm.
mindset. So, what are some
Yeah,
tips that you could give
yeah,
us? Because right now, everybody is scared about the future,
mhm.
how they're going to move
Well,
forward in their
I
businesses. So, what are some
mm.
mindset
Well,
tips?
I ran marathons by accident myself, to be
Really?
honest. And I only started running marathons because I broke my leg. Uh, my story was when I was about 19 years old, possibly 20 years old. I was playing football, soccer as you know it over there.
Mm-hmm.
And I was playing the first game of the season. Before the game even started, during the warm up, I fell awkwardly and broke my ankle and had pins put in it.
Wow.
Now, I've never played football since.
Mm-hmm.
But around about that time, the London Marathon was starting. So the doctors were telling me, "Oh, rest yourself now. You've done enough exercise now. Look after yourself." No, I've got to do something. So I went and trained and ran a marathon instead.
That's phenomenal.
So I joined the local running club at the time. I'm still in a running club now, but albeit a different one.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and just having a bit of company, yeah.
That's
And
amazing.
it's
So,
just perseverance. It's like the eating an elephant. You do it one bite at a time.
mhm,
You got step by step. It's not a sprint by definition. It's a marathon, not a sprint. you know,
right.
you just have to do it a bit at a time.
I love that. Now, and so you would really be good. And you said elephant one bite at a time. That's I
Mhm.
have a room on Clubhouse and it's called How to Eat an Elephant, and that's the concept every day. But how do you break it down? Because as a marathon runner, you have to pace yourself. You have to
Yeah,
know.
yeah,
And same thing, like anything you tackle, I think a lot of people struggle with this because they don't know how to break things down,
yeah.
to where it's manageable. I'm like, you broke your ankle
hmm
and you're able to run 7 marathons. I mean, that alone is phenomenal.
hmm
So, what do we get wrong when it comes to breaking it down to eat it one bite at a time?
well, there's a lot more help about nowadays than there was then in way of books, etc., that you can follow. Even things
Mhm,
like Couch to 5K or park
mhm,
runs that are everywhere. Start with that.
mhm,
Simple as that.
mhm,
Until you're comfortable to step it up a little bit further.
mhm,
If you use park run as an example, then it's how
mhm,
crazy as it seems. I've never done one. My son
mhm,
talked me into getting the barcode for it once, but we never got around to doing it, and we never have.
mhm,
Right? But excuse me. By
mhm,
definition, if you're doing a park run, you're going to make some friends, or you're probably going to run it with someone. You might find your friends or the person you're running with might take the initiative before you and say, "Well, yeah, this is great doing this, but let's go take it a bit further and see if we can get up to a 5K or 10K."
mhm,
And once you've done that, you say, "There's a half marathon that they run every year over here, 6 months' time. So go building up to that."
mhm,
You got to don't rush it.
mhm,
A lot of running books will have training programs to do, say, train for a marathon in, say, 12 weeks or 16 weeks.
mhm.
Don't be tempted.
Right.
That's far too quick.
Mhm,
And all the training programs, this is personal thoughts, is that training programs always stipulate a long run once a week. Well, I
mm.
always doubled the preparation time and did a long run every 2 weeks.
I see. Yeah, giving yourself that
So,
space.
yeah, so every week in the published training plan, I'd take over 2 weeks.
Mhm,
And put a couple of extra wings in as well. I wouldn't just still the 6 days out of the 14 or whatever. I'd still put extra days in,
mhm.
but the main meat of it, the long run, and then it would only be once a fortnight, once
Yeah,
every 2 weeks.
that's awesome. And, so, as you prepare for marathons or just anything in life with the perseverance, I believe it changes you. It makes you a
Mhm.
different person. You grow, you don't do things the way you used to. It's like an evolution.
Yeah,
So for somebody who is kind of nervous about that, because it's like you don't want to leave your life behind as you used to have or the people you hung out with. But as you grow, you just have different interests and new opportunities. What
yeah.
advice would you give somebody about that kind of fear of success or moving forward?
Well, my biggest move forward wasn't that taking up the marathon running as such. It was
Mhm.
when I had to give up playing football, I took up refereeing it instead. You call it umpires
Mm.
perhaps over there.
Mhm.
So I was in, a fairly young age. I was, controlling 22 people on a football pitch every weekend.
Mhm.
That builds self-confidence and authority in itself.
Mhm.
Yeah. So that helped enormously in building me up and
Mhm.
helping me move forward with life. And yeah, you get different circles of friends and acquaintances as you go, as well as, of course. I mean,
Mhm.
there's a big saying in network marketing: when you start network marketing, you don't at that point you don't know who your best people are going to be. You don't know them yet at that stage.
So true. That
Mm,
now that is so true. And you
yeah,
always find the people that you think are gonna be rock stars, don't
yeah,
do anything.
yeah,
People that you kinda think, "Oh, they're not serious." They end up being rock stars. So it's
yeah,
amazing.
yeah,
Can't judge a book by its cover, right?
yeah. That's right. Mm.
So, what are some things that you do in your daily routine that kinda sets you up to persevere, every day?
You mean on the travel club front, or
Or just anything, yeah, like, let's talk about the travel club because
okay,
sometimes people don't know what income producing activities are or how to schedule their
okay,
day or what things that are non-negotiable. So, yeah, what do you do for that?
okay. Well, I take part in numerous networking groups
Mhm,
online to get in
mhm,
front of new people all the time. That's not something that everybody would ever have to do. I don't doubt that, but I no,
mhm,
I do that as a way of creating the people to work with, because then I follow that up on a one-to-one basis with people.
mhm,
But on a daily basis, it's the main things, posting on social media,
mhm,
staying conscious of your number of posts on social media. I do ease off a bit at weekends, I'll admit to
mhm,
that.
mhm,
But it's the sort of thing you can do in small chunks of the day. I emphasize that you can do it in small chunks of the day.
mhm,
Yeah, I mean, I mentioned Fraser Brooks as someone I
mhm,
read. One of
mhm.
his stories in his books, he does a lot of networking on the toilet. It's so easy to send out 4 or 5 text messages while you're on the toilet. Of course, it
Yeah.
is, isn't it?
Mhm,
So just simple things like that. As long as I send out a certain number of approaches a day,
mhm,
my social media posts. We've got a social media group that we add people to. So once I've spoken to
mhm,
people, look, can I invite you to our private Facebook group?
mhm,
So all these sorts of things are the non-negotiables, and then I intersperse that with non-business stuff on social media. Like
mhm,
I go while I'm not running at the minute because obviously I'm on the injured list. I get out quite often. Get out walking. I was out walking at 7 a.m. this morning,
mhm.
so I might put a post on about that. Put a picture in the countryside or something.
I love that. I mean, I'm
So
just great insights. I mean, this has been wonderful. And, I'll be going back watching the replay because, so many people don't realize the nuggets are there in the simple
yeah,
things, the
yeah,
things that are practical that you can
yeah,
implement, that you can incorporate in your
mm,
day. We're looking for all these complicated things. And when they're complicated, they don't work
yeah.
because you don't want to do them. And the
That's right.
minute that you have some adversity, that's the first thing that you let go
Yeah,
of. But
yeah.
if it's simple, then you're gonna continue to be consistent with
That's
it.
right.
So I love the practical
Yeah.
advice.
How difficult can it be to ask someone if they would watch a video and follow it up?
Right.
And we're talking like 3.5 minutes, not an
Mhm.
hour long video.
Right.
Little building blocks like that.
Yeah. So true. Being duplicatable. Yep. Like I love
Yeah,
the fact that you
mm,
say video because, a lot of times we kind of get in our own way. I have to be the one to do the presentation and
mm,
try to control it. But when you use the tools that are there for you, it
yeah,
makes life so much easier.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So this is awesome. So what is the best way for the audience to get a hold of you?
Okay. Well, I'm on Facebook and LinkedIn all the time. Do
Mhm.
you? Uh, I think I forwarded my links to that anyway,
Mhm.
didn't I? For you, I don't
Mhm.
know what you do with those. My email is nice and simple as well, which is at see the world as it
Mhm.
sounds, right, at uwclub.net.
Mhm. That's
Um,
awesome.
yeah,
All
and
right.
yeah, and
So what
happy to hear
final
from you.
words would you like to share with everybody?
Uh, well, listen, we're in a strange world at the moment.
Mhm.
Everybody's itching to get away. Uh, when you get out from being locked up or when the situation changes at the moment and you're ready to go away, What would you rather do? Go to a travel agent, sit down looking at brochures and book something for 4 months' time, or join us now and build up the position so that you can go at a week's notice where you want to go at a fraction of the cost. That is the difference.
That's phenomenal. Well, I mean, this has just been a great conversation, great insights, and ready to take a free trip. Okay.
Yeah,
So I think it's
that can be arranged.
amazing. Yeah. So we want to thank you so much for coming on here, Kevin. It's a pleasure. And it's always good to talk to you, and looking forward to more collaborations in the future.
Yeah, love to.
All right. Well, thank you guys all for watching. And if you want to get away, if you want to travel, reach out to Kevin and find out more about how you can affordably have that trip. And I know many of us are just kind of having cabin fever, and we're feeling like we've been confined and closed up. And, now is the time to be thinking about where you want to be, even just as early as 2022, which is right around the corner. So if you want to plan ahead and prepare for that trip that's just going to help you get recentered and reset, reach out to Kevin. So with all that being said, we want to thank you all for your time, and we look forward to seeing everyone on the next episode. Bye for now.